very, very important. Today is Giving Tuesday. It's a global day of giving. It's also the launch of ESPN's V Week. And if you're able, give now at v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes to cancer research.
And tonight on ESPN, it's the Champions Classic. Tom Izzo and the Spartans taking on Coach K and the Blue Devils. And the 65-year-old Izzo has recovered after testing positive for COVID in November. He spoke about this very unusual season earlier today on Get Out.
Well, as I told my players back in September, it's going to be about survival as we're learning in the NFL. And, the NBA kind of helped us as far as learning how to sacrifice. And I think that's what we all have to do this year. It's not the norm. It's going to be different. You guys have a different situation there. We have a different situation. If you want to play the game, you got to adhere to the protocol. And I think he who handles the protocol the best. And like us, we're talking about playing more guys because we're preparing for losing a guy or two down the road. It's just the nature of the beast this year, and yet it can be done if everybody works together.
Tonight on ESPN and the app, the 10th annual State Farm Champions Classic, number 8 Michigan State and number 6 Duke at 7:30 Eastern from Cameron Indoor, albeit without all the crazies. And then number 7 Kansas taking on number 20 Kentucky at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Time now for your half-hour headlines. Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson is a stunning 22-7 when traveling east.
And he tweeted this morning, just got back to Seattle with a win. #GoHawks, because that's what they do when they come east.
Oh, yeah.
Wilson threw for 230 yards and a touchdown. Seahawks beat the Philadelphia Eagles 23-17 last night. DK Metcalf caught 10 passes for 177 yards. Seattle's defense entered the game allowing the most yards of the NFL and most yards passing, but held Philly's offense to 250 yards. Seahawks now one game ahead of the Rams in the NFC West. As we look at the NFC playoff picture, if it looks like one doesn't belong in the division leaders section, you are right. The Saints, Seahawks, and Packers are all well above 500, whereas the 4-7 Giants lead the NFC East. But remember, the last 2 teams to make the NFL postseason with a losing record both won playoff games.
Really bad night for the Eagles. Offensively, Carson Wentz matches his season low and points for a 3rd straight week. Lost to the Hawks. He went 25 of 45, 2 TDs and a pick. O-line and receivers didn't help out much. Jalen Hurts getting 2 snaps in this one. Only 250 total yards on offense. Really, obviously, not the kind of year we're used to seeing from Carson Wentz. He has the most interceptions and off-target incompletions in all of the NFL. He has also been sacked 11 more times than any other quarterback. And the last player to lead the NFL in both sacks and picks, Blake Bortles in 2015.
Hannah, Ravens Steelers now set for tomorrow afternoon in the wake of the COVID outbreak in Baltimore. Good news for the Ravens, as Adam Schefter reports, running backs J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram are eligible to play. Bad news, 13 other Ravens, including Lamar Jackson, will remain on the reserve COVID-19 list. The game was originally set for Thanksgiving night. Now, RG3 expected to make the start at quarterback in place of Lamar Jackson. The former Heisman Trophy winner's last 2 starts have actually come against the Steelers. In Week 17 last year, he didn't account for a touchdown, but the Ravens won by 18. And back in 2017, as a member of the Browns, he started the last game of a 1-15 season, losing to Pittsburgh in overtime.
College football of Saturday's Ohio State-Michigan State game goes off, which, this season is not a sure bet. Buckeyes coach Ryan Day will not be able to coach. He will not be out of isolation after a positive COVID test last week. Meanwhile, Larry Johnson, the associate head coach and the D-line coach, will take over on the sidelines. Now, the Sun Bowl, which has been played every year since its inception in 1935, has now been canceled because of the coronavirus pandemic. These are confirmed by sources to ESPN. Now, only the Rose Bowl game has been played consecutively more often than the Sun Bowl, and this now marks the 9th bowl game canceled because of COVID-19. So OTL is going to do a deep dive on how the NFL is handling the pandemic. Again, that Ravens-Steelers game moved 3 times. So a lot going on to dive in there. And those are your half-hour headlines. Well, Jay, NBA training camps open today as we take a look at the Eastern Conference. Yeah, can you believe that?
No, I can't believe it.
We're starting in Brooklyn. Kevin Durant returning from the ruptured Achilles and teaming up with Kyrie Irving, two-time Finals MVP, hasn't played since June of 2019. Down to Philly, where the new-look Sixers added Doc Rivers as a coach and Daryl Morey as the president of basketball's operations. They haven't made it past the second round since 2001. And the Celtics, busy offseason, they lock in Jason Tatum, 5-year max extension worth up to $195 million. Also sending Gordon Hayward to Charlotte. And more news coming out of Boston this morning. Kemba Walker is out until at least the first week of January. He received a stem cell injection in his left knee in October. Danny Ainge, new on SportsCenter.
Well, I think this next year will tell us a lot more. I think, he saw some specialists over the last, 6 or 8 weeks, and they all came to the same conclusion. And I think that gave Kemba a great peace of mind. Maybe we didn't do him justice by bringing him back too fast into the bubble.
I think this has as much to do with the turnaround as anything else. I think if we were starting games in the middle of January, he'd probably be starting right along with us, and I don't even know if we'd be talking about it. So I do think that, it's very similar to what I said when we got to the bubble. This is about making sure that he feels great, strengthening appropriately, moving at the right pace, hopefully playing his best basketball late.
For more, let's bring in our NBA insider, Brian Windhorst. Okay, Brian, Kemba Walker out until at least January after he got that stem cell injection in his left knee. How much of a concern is this for the Celtics going forward?
Yeah, Jay, I think this is one of the most important things in the Eastern Conference to watch early in the season. Kemba Walker has really been bothered by this since last All-Star break. He's been dealing with it on and off, and he's such a different player when he's live. When you watch him out there, you can tell when he's feeling good. He's that kind of electric player. And the Celtics here are opening the door for the fact that he may not be right well into the season. Even when he does come back, they're expecting him to have limited minutes. This is one of the reasons why they signed veteran Jeff Teague to start in his place if he needs it. But Danny Ainge today said that they do not have any plans to use their $27 million trade exception. There are players out there that they could get to help them, and maybe they will have to go to that step. But for now, they're going to stick with what they have on their roster. Let's see how that develops.
Yeah, Kemba averaging over 20 points a game in his first season with Boston. NBA players began reporting to facilities today, but Anthony Davis still yet to re-sign with the Lakers. So, Brian, what's the holdup with AD?
Well, he is going to meet with the Lakers today and have a discussion about what their medium and long-term plans are. Now, there's been some speculation out there that Anthony Davis may be waiting to see what Giannis Antetokounmpo does with his extension. But I am told that what Anthony Davis is focused on right now is whether to sign a short contract. The 3 options he's looking at are 1 year plus an option, 2 years plus an option, or 4 years plus an option. And he's just been indecisive, Jay, because he signed a 5-year deal in New Orleans and ended up regretting being under contract that long. And he just wants to make sure that he's got peace of mind about it. Most people in the NBA think he should sign a 2-year deal, but we'll see. If he only signs for 1, the Lakers could have salary cap space next summer. He
averaged nearly 28 points a game in the postseason, again helping the Lakers win their first championship since 2010. Brian, thank you so much.